We had to get this going early, my man. We had to. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the biggest, craziest Ark of Osiris in the history of Rise of Kingdoms. We are talking about two of the biggest alliances in the game about to go head to head. And oh boy, it's gonna be crazy. This will still be a bloodbath. Hell yeah. It is going to be a bloodbath. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. I am sure that we're going to see one of the craziest fights we have seen in a long time. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Lower down that a little bit. Hell yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 7 minutes away, waiting up on Chisgule to come join us. We are going to duo cast this event. It's going to be a historical event. 1.194 billion power versus... we're going to have to put that on the screen, guys. We're going to have to put that on the screen. Give me a second. I need to add this on the screen. I have to add it, right? We need to have this. Text. I'm so excited. Ivy, I am too. I am so stoked. We're going to add a little bit of text on the screen just so we can have all the information available. You know what? Screw the text. We don't need that. You guys know exactly what's going down right here. Guys, smash them like buttons. Get ready. This is going to be a very exciting fight. I want to give a big shout out to the guys at JWM for hosting us and letting us in. We are talking about, let's give them... Let's give a big shout out to this huge fighters. We got Lakik here. We got Brutch. Big shout out to Brutch for being an awesome guy. A bunch of awesome, huge players. Some of these names I cannot even pronounce. But hey, we have plenty of fire coming up this stream. It's going to be insane. It's going to be nuts. These guys are super strong, well-trained, very capable players. And boy, oh boy, they're already getting on Discord. Let's go ahead and hide the chat. We do not want to interfere with their tactics and all their good stuff. You see, they're going on Discord. The competition is going to happen on Discord as Purge and all the rest of these awesome people are getting ready and crunching in, breathing deep, because this is the biggest fight of their lifetime as an alliance. It's going to be nuts. 30 members, 1.245 billion power against UCS, a huge alliance of its own from Kingdom 2 with 1.195 billion power. How unbelievable is that? How unbelievable is that? Let's go ahead and add a little bit. JWM 1.245 BN versus, let's take this out of the way, UCS 1.195 BN. Bam! Co-casted with Chisgule Gaming. We're just waiting on Chisgule to get his coffee and get online. You're nervous and you're not playing? Squiggles, I literally did not sleep. Ronnie is streaming for the opponent. Oh my goodness. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing, guys. We got the JWM perspective, which is going to be unbelievable. I can tell you a couple things about these guys already very briefly. This is an alliance holding a 100 million power warlord, 52 million power leader, 55 million power R4, 51 million power R4. I am talking about not one, not three, not four, but 11 tier 5s. 11 tier 5s. The opponent has 13 tier 5s. Are you sure? I thought they had 8. I thought they had 8. That's what I understood from JWM, that they registered with 8 tier 5s to fight in this fight. Maybe they were wrong. Maybe the opponent has more tier 5s. That would be nuts if they surprised them with more tier 5s. I don't know if all 13 that are part of the alliance are battling it out this time around. So that is a great question. Oh, buddy. Let's go check out Ronnie very briefly. Oh, he's wearing the sunglasses on. I see ya, I see ya. I see ya, Ronnie, with the sunglasses on. From the USC side. I don't think he's on the USC side, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure he's on JWM side. I'm 99% sure he's on JWM side. As a matter of fact, I'm more than convinced he's on JWM side. Ronnie counted 13 on UCS. It doesn't mean that they all registered, by the way. It doesn't mean they all registered. He's doing it from this alliance as well, guys. I'm pretty sure he's doing it from this alliance. I'm pretty sure that this is Ronnie. This is Ronnie right here. And here's Chisgule and myself. We're just waiting on Chisgule to go live and for us to start the call. Because boy, oh boy, this is going to be nuts. This is going to be crazy. Ooh.
What we're talking about here. 52 million power.
What is going on?
Haha, the gecko.
What's up, Chisgule?
Look at this roster.
Oh, buddy.
Goodness.
Oh, buddy.
Power.
11 tier 5s have signed up for this fight. 11. Now, I have heard that Ronnie counted 13 on the enemy side, but I do know from the leader of JWM that apparently only 8 signed up total for this time slot. So maybe out of all the tier 5s they had, some couldn't make it at this time. Perhaps.
Whew.
I'm shaking.
Jump in and say, Ankit, thank you for the donation, my friend. He says, morning Chisgule, we had 18 versus 30 last ARK, but 9 people didn't show up for them. Jeez.
Oh, that blows. I guess
half the battle's showing up, man. Right?
I guess while we're on that subject, I gotta thank Z for the nice little tip he sent. Thank you, Z, after that wonderful fight you guys did for DJ. Congratulations on your win, and thank you for the tip. That was awesome by you. He did it off stream, and I told him I'd mention it as soon as the stream started, and you just reminded me of that. So thank you.
All right.
I slept 1 hour.
So you slept 1 hour. I was going to ask. When my alarm went off this morning, I was like, gecko, why? But I'll tell you why. This is 3.2 million power for the alliance power. Do you know what the total power is for each side that they're bringing?
Yes, they are bringing 1.245 billion power on the JWM side against 1.195 billion power on UCS's side. And their leader is one of the most known players in this game. He has accounts across kingdoms. He's a very, very, very strong player. I'm just being told that your sound is a bit low, so I'm raising your volume. Thank you for letting me know. And of course, guys, the usual is going here. More than the usual, right? Because this is going to be madness. I don't think we'll be able to pay attention to chat at all.
No.
At all.
I don't think so either.
76 million power, insane. Sir Alex.
I'm getting a look here, and what I'm seeing is a lot of T5s still haven't showed up on the side of UCS. Looks like one more just ported in. I do not see nearly as many T5s on that side. I mean, but there's so many, it's almost kind of ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I see.
So far, I've seen 5, but don't go looking based on their location, because I understood that they borrowed some tier 5s from other alliances. Another tier 5 showed up, so that's number 6. So potentially there will be tier 5s in the back lines, as they are R1s in the alliance. So we got to keep an eye on the back guys as well. It's not based on strength.
Huh. Well, it is. I thought it is based on strength, but also maybe based on rank as well.
I think it's half and half. Maybe you're right, because I'm seeing the backline is for real 29s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, from what I've seen, it is sorted by power. So this is going to be a heck of a fight. In conclusion, T5s on T5s on T5s, and I think strategy is going to be relevant. I think fighting power is going to be relevant. I mean, this is pushing the commanders, the marches, the combinations to the extreme, right? Like this is the high end that is available in this game at this time.
Can I be a little bit of a Debbie Downer? I have a slight feeling we are going to see very little points per minute being made total. I think that once people will take buildings, it will be ridiculously hard to take them away from them. I think we're going to be seeing the game really being summarized in either 1 or 2, maybe 3 buildings that will be exchanging hands every now and then. But I think, as funny as that might sound, and I know you're not going to like me saying this, I think caravans are going to have a huge impact here, as well as the Ark of Osiris itself. I don't
You know I'm #1 farmer in my kingdom.
Hell
You
yeah.
think I'm not going to like caravans having an impact?
I don't know. A lot of people keep saying caravans have no meaning, and yet they do. I do see, by the way, one of the leaders from UCS has not showed up yet. It's a 24 versus 21 right now, which... Ooh, baby. They just started
24 versus 29.
It's 29, my bad. Listen, they just started sending tier 5s out from the UCS side, and I stopped talking. I lost my breath. This is...
Thing of beauty.
I'm seeing a train of gold coming out of O-Name SKO by UCS, and look at the train of gold coming in from the red team. Oh my...
Yeah, well, that is pretty impressive. You know, the thing that's a little weird is that really, like, the leader is the closest one to the shrines and altars and all the goodies. So they really need to be one of the people that sends their tier 1 cavalry.
It's hilarious. You see them? 265 troops at the front of the line. These are all tier 1s that the leader sent out to cap. And I don't see him sending any other marches. All the other guys are pouring troops out. But he is staying very, very quiet. And also both of his R4s. This is really, really cool to finally see an alliance that is so disciplined that the top 3 have not sent anything but tier 1s yet. This is fun.
You know, it is cool, but I'll point out that you can send armies, right? Like, they could send a couple more armies. They just have to position them next to objectives, right? So one of those armies could go reinforce Sky Altar. One of those armies could go reinforce Shrine of War. But I'm eager to see what they have cooked up, because look, every time we cast Ark of Osiris, I feel like I learn and see something new. So
100%.
I'm excited to see what is going on here.
Quick update, the final JWM tier 5 player has arrived in the server. It is a full 30-person roster. Although the blue team starts ahead with a little bit of buildings, they are still down by 5 people. And unless these 5 people show up, oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty tough when you like show up to the championship match and it's like, hey, wait a minute.
We're missing people.
1/6 of my team is missing.
A really
What's
cool
going
thing,
on?
There's something really cool that just happened that I really want to find out how they did it. I'm going to ask JWM at the end. Hopefully they'll divulge the information. But did you notice the top obelisk was taken before the second outpost of Seth? They somehow managed to make it to the obelisk before making it to the outpost. And I really want to know how.
I mean, I think there's a clean answer here for that, which is that you use your Minotaur and you use a proper mobility build, max speed, with T1 calves.
But didn't they do the same for the outpost?
No.
You don't think so?
For the obelisk over here, the other obelisk, no. The outpost, I mean, they probably just ignored the outpost. They just went straight to the obelisk.
You might be right. One thing I'm noticing they're doing, though, by the way, sorry to cut you off for a second, just the top obelisk, if you take a look at it, they listened. You look at those infantries marching into that top obelisk to ensure it doesn't get snatched out of them early on. This just goes to show you that you can very much... Is that infantries at the front? That is, right? I'm not crazy. These are both infantry marches. There's infantries...
I see cav and I see archers to the top obelisk.
Archers. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Those are archers. The little shield in the back. I thought those were infantries for a second. So cavalry...
It is funny how the archers carry the crest.
It's
in
crazy.
a shield. Yeah, well, whatever. I think the graphic looks sweet. Yeah, folks are moving forward. This is what I want to see. These objectives open up in about 60 seconds, and they've got a swarm of armies around the objectives. The thing that's fascinating is that the Sky Altar is empty, and that's actually the more important of those objectives,
So is the desert
in my
altar on the
opinion.
top area.
I wonder what they're cooking up. Not hunting for those altars perhaps is an interesting choice. That's where the big points are. And you know what I'll say about these outposts is like, yeah, it's cool to get them early, but we are talking about 30 points a minute, which is not an exciting number of points compared to all of the other structures. The altars are 150 points a minute, so that is pretty substantially more points, 5 times as many per
Mm-hmm.
minute.
Yeah, I'm getting confirmation by the chat that indeed I was wrong. Sorry, chat. I got too excited too early. Don't get mad at me. The desert altar at the bottom though is being swarmed by the red team, and they're pushing forward. They're actually targeting a forward caravan ahead of the desert altar, trying to, as you mentioned, as you say, posture forward as much as possible to gain as much territory as they can early on. If they can cut off marches this further away in the map so early, this is going to be a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, I like that call on their part because they probably have also noticed they've got 5 more players and they're basically saying we are the aggressor in this matchup, and that is exactly what I would expect to see given that they've got more players, that they position forward and take advantage of that for as long as they have that advantage, which by the way, um, you know, the other players from Blue could show up literally at any time. Could be that they maybe had troops outside their city, or they accidentally got war frenzy, or who knows, right? Like, they may show up at any point and turn the tide.
It is unbelievable how forward-facing JWM are at the bottom of the map. I opened my mini-map. I enlarged it a few seconds before the buildings opened up to see how quickly these guys pick up what. And I'm seeing just everything being picked up. For the love of God, someone take that bottom Shrine of Life. If that's going to be the last building again, Chisgule, I might blow a fuse. I literally might blow a fuse.
I'm okay with the Shrine of Life being last, but I would be pretty shocked to see the altar be last. So here's what I'll say is even though Blue has fewer players in the battle, they took all their objectives pretty cleanly, and the
Yes.
altar is the last
Yes.
one
Yes.
to be captured. No, I don't know why you're excited about that.
I
They
am
don't
excited
need it.
about that.
They
I know they
need
don't.
it.
I know they don't need it, but the fact that people are overlooking that building every single time upsets me. It goes to show that there is something wrong in the symmetry of the map. If the top Shrine of Life always is captured early and the bottom one is never captured early, it goes to show there is a symmetry issue in the map, and it's a very important thing. Very important thing in my opinion.
Symmetry or prioritization. I think they could have easily gotten to all the objectives. I don't think they're that much further.
And by the way, just as we're talking about that Shrine of Life, and it's ticking down for the red team, guess what? It's about to be converted. Ba-bam. Blue team posturing forward early on, taking that Shrine of Life out early. I like that play. I know you don't like too much these buildings because you think you should prioritize the altars, but the bottom line is both 2 out of 4 altars are secured by each team, and now it's time to start doing damage. And just by the fact that they reset the timer for the red team and pulled back, it means that these guys are going to have to wait another few minutes to get their boosts back to be able to start healing, which can be a little bit of an advantage for the blue team as they are already fighting right next to the Shrine of War on the blue side on the top of the map.
Ton of combat going by the Shrine of War, and I'll say, look, you know, I want to make sure that I represent my belief clearly here. I don't think the Shrine of Life is all that important of an objective to be taking, but I do think a clean yoink that requires little to no effort is always good value. For
sure.
the points you mentioned.
100%.
Slowing down that timer by which points are accumulated. It looks like there's an expertise Isung Ye in the mix over here.
Yes, there is, and we are happy. And we are happy. This is the first time we actually get to see him in action, and he's doing damage. I saw a circle on the ground. I see a circle again.
Yeah, there it is.
Woo! Look at that damage. Oh,
It's pretty sweet. There's only so many targets for him to hit, it looks like. I don't
But
know.
still.
Why am I not seeing big numbers? Oh, there we go. There it is. Part of the reason the numbers are not as large as you might expect is, guess what, baby? Those T5s have a lot of defense.
Not only a lot of
good bit less
defense,
damage.
but on top of that, the quantities we're seeing on the battlefield as these guys are super maxed out. They're the biggest, baddest players in the game almost. I wouldn't be too surprised that they you know, they losing 10K doesn't even move their little bar a little bit, quite honestly. These guys
What
are
I can't figure out
supercharged.
is why there's so much open field combat when there are like you can just focus on objectives and rallies. Have we seen a rally yet?
I think this is a little bit of and this is not to say anything bad about either side. I think this is at this point a little bit of an ego fight. It's gonna take them the first, like, I think that it'll take them down to the 40th minute to really say, okay, settle down, we got a game to win. Because if they don't, JWM are already losing.
Huh?
Exactly. At this point, JWM are losing the game of points. The blue team is doing about 230 points per minute more, even though they have less people, 5 people less. So don't get caught with your ego out, guys. Don't get caught with your ego out. Win the game, and after you win the event, start going crazy.
I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't remember the last time I've seen this many marches, and like if you took a screenshot of this moment, I see 1, 2, 3, at least 3 Richards, many Winamotos all over the field, a bunch of Barcas, bunch of Cao Caos. I mean, this is
I'm so happy I'm seeing
legendaries everywhere.
so many Yi Xiongyaes on the battlefield. There is a little bit of a fight going on the Sky Altar top of the map. Blue team kind of backed off of it, but there is still an expertise Yi Xiongyae here doing massive damage. And also I see the other altar, the Sky Altar on the bottom side of the map, is being contested by the red team against the blues. And I don't see rallies, my friend. What happened to the rallies? Do not tell me these guys don't have castles. Do not
Rallies
say
are
that.
out of style. They're going full honey badger, swarming these objectives.
And man, oh man, I am seeing 4 marches, 4 tier 5 marches marching towards this Sky Altar in unison, in almost perfect synchronism. Look at I'm amazed at how well these guys can manage their troops. They stop all their marches at the same time. They move them all at the same time. Not even a break. What are they doing? How do they do
Man, I don't
that?
know where you're looking at. Oh, I see it all now. Where
Look at the train. Look at the train.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, these guys are standing in AoE damage that they don't need to stand in right now. They're having their damage actually reduced by 40%.
Correct.
Which I'd love to see them just sneak behind the target. That said, I know they're managing like 5 marches at a time right now, which if you've ever tried to manage 5 marches, that is really hard to do. Like really hard to do.
I don't think that's correct. I think I personally think it's impossible. And by the way, I posted the multi-stream link in your chat in mine as well. I apologize for the delay. I was so excited hyping things up that I completely forgot about this, to be completely honest. So here's the
Let me give you my tips for managing 5 marches, because I actually think it's very doable, but hard.
Okay.
The key to managing 5 marches is that you put as many of them as possible into structures or the exact same location.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. The swarm attack actually worked on the Sky Altar. I'm a little bit shocked, but only 2 players were defending it.
Yep.
Sure, you can swarm that. Why not?
And by the way, just some context very quickly. Only 2 players were defending that, right? Look at how long it took to get that damn Sky Altar out of the hands of 2 players.
Well,
that is
guess what?
unbelievable.
There is a rally on the other Sky Altar, upper right side of the field. It is doing work on this objective. It's actually going to go down. I don't think the reinforcements can get here in time, and this is going to convert over to blue. The effectiveness of the rally, clean and easy. If only they could have kept the other side of the field defended for themselves, it ends up being a trade instead of a big win.
And on the other hand, you have JWM rallying the blue obelisk, the bottom obelisk. Are they going to snatch this obelisk away? O-Name SKO ported here just now, and he is a full tier 5 player. He's a big boy player. He's got a few marches here. He's already trying to chunk down a little bit this rally. I think that his plan is going to be straight up keep reinforcing this obelisk at all price. And if not, then if they take this obelisk out of the blue team, my goodness, we might be seeing a very skewed fight right here.
You know, unlike other objectives in your kingdom where you can send multiple armies to defend your structure, in the Ark of Osiris, you can only send 1 army at a time. So the only way that a single power player can hold an objective like this is if there are already multiple armies in the objective. and they can swap out their one army, keeping it full health. You bring a large march with like a Barca and any other commander that has a increased army size, and you just keep swapping those out. And I do see they are taking the tactic, and this is something I don't normally think about, but a T5 would, is of just hitting the rally.
Yup.
Just send their free marches to hit the rally, and that is what we're seeing.
We are
And
also
it's working.
seeing Yi Song Ye defending the obelisk, who thought about that ahead of time. An expertise Yi Song Ye, who was hoping there will be a little bit of a swarm against him and not a rally. Turns out the rally is still taking a lot of damage, but with all these tier 5s going for this rally and more tier 5s going into the obelisk just right now, this sim seems to be a bad idea. Oh
Gosh, I don't even know which obelisk you're looking at getting rallied, because both of the obelisks owned by Blue, UCS, are getting rallied at this moment in time.
I was looking at the bottom one, which just failed, and the rally is marching back, and now the top one too.
Yeah, this top one is...
Oh, buddy.
Remember when I said the defense of your obelisk is easy and a good way to accumulate value? That's what we're seeing here. Easy defense of an obelisk. Because look, like you've got a whole bunch of cities nearby to do work with. You can teleport in. There's a lot you can do to defend your own obelisk. I don't love attacking other player obelisks unless you think you're the clear overdog. And let's be honest, they were up 5 players. They may have said, yeah, being up 5 players, we're definitely in that position. That said, I'm a little surprised to see that while they've got these rallies, how many marches do you think committed to those obelisks? Right now, the ARK is cruising toward the blue side of the map.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
With regard to ARK position, with regard to points, UCS is currently winning down 4 players, but I don't know. This is an interesting match.
It is pretty crazy. I think that it's really, really a bit disappointing to see a team going straight for brute force instead of tactics early on. The ARK of Osiris is an event that the first probably 25 minutes of it are the most crucial minutes. You can either build a huge lead, close a huge lead, or make it very competitive. It really depends on how you're playing. And at this stage, it seems like the blue team is more focused on winning the event, and the red team is more focused on brute force, showing to the blue team that 11 tier 5s do better than 8.
You know what I'll point out is that if you can imagine a kingdom with 11 tier 5s in the same alliance, how much war, like real war challenge, have they had? I have no clue what their wars have looked like, but they may just want to sort of test each other's strength for a bit, battle in the open field, get to use these commanders against, you know, equally powered players, just to get a feel of what it feels like to deliver a punch, you know what I mean?
Take a look at the ARK of Osiris, my man, as the blue team was pushing forward with it, but guess what? The red team was not gonna let them take it without a fight, and it seems like now the red team has more marches around. Again, I'm seeing a huge mistake being made by JWM, trying to lift that ARK even though the battlefield isn't clean. Sir Alex is gonna have a great time just eating up these troops carrying the ARK of Osiris, which is a real shame. We have talked about it over and over. While there are enemy marches anywhere nearby, the ARK carrier will get destroyed. So it makes no sense to pick up the ARK, because right now the red team lost a full or a half full march for free. And
yeah,
if the blue team can keep up numbers game by letting the red team just pick up the ARK and just chunking them out of existence, the blue team will have a much better advantage and chance of delivering this ARK of Osiris.
So we're sitting with a 1,000-point lead 20 minutes into the match. 590 points per minute for blue and 290 points per minute for red.
And as you say that, it will go down in a moment, as the red team picked up one of the altars out of the blue team's hand, and another altar is being contested as we speak, but it will not work as it is super protected. We got to keep in mind that some of these buildings are still ticking down for time. We have 2 altars who are not giving points at all. Both the altars that belong to the red team have either 1:12 or 2.5 minutes left on them total, which means that they're not giving points at all for the red team, while the 2 other altars are giving points to the blue team. This is what we were talking about in the previous casts about, as my emulator goes wild, at just stopping the points the other team is making. If you can just reset those timers, it's everything to win this game, because we do have 2 altars for each team, but the blue team is the only one enjoying the points.
Yeah, I think that blue has picked up the altar that's with an infantry march, so it's going to go real slow, but they're starting to move that thing again. And they, the thing that's so interesting about players of this power level, and to have such a quantity of them, is that the number of marches on the field here is just insane. The number of troops that each of these players has is probably just insane.
Can we take a moment and gamble? How many kills do you think will be in total in this Ark of Osiris? Let's do a little gamble for the chat. Chat, you guys too. Let us know in the comments, but in both in both live streams, how many kills you think will be in total in this Ark of Osiris? What do you think, Chisgule?
I don't know. A part of it is that there's not going to be as many kills in some ways, because there's like so many higher tier troops. Like it's not like they're easy kills to get. At the same time, I'm gonna say over 20 million kills.
You got to be a little more specific than that. You don't have to say 21, 22, but give me a range. 20 to 22, 20 to 25, 30.
How many? Wait. Million's not the right number, is it?
Million is the right number.
What did we see? Kills? Was it? Didn't we see?
We saw 14 million kills on DJ's side last cast we did. Out of them, 5 million of them went to Abe.
Oh, that was just the one side. Okay, so are we talking about like total kills for the match? Oh, geez. I mean, I would say 40 million.
Total?
Yeah, I think so.
Someone in my chat just said 40 million each, which is kind of insane.
40 million each?
I had to read that. God. I had to read that because it's just beyond crazy. If we see 80.
Here's the thing. If they've never had war, and someone is saying in chat, like, there's no war in Kingdom 59, all of the powerhouse players work together for KVK, which I think is awesome. They've got a lot of healing speed up saved up, don't they? And when you've got a match that's going to be streamed and the results is going to be pretty public, I mean, I'd be jamming those healing speed ups.
Yep.
Without hesitation.
I mean, at the same time, these guys are so, we'll say it as it is, they are so rich in the sense that they have spent such an amount of money in this game to get to where they have gotten, that I don't think they have any problem just splurging away all their speed ups in here, and that's that. I honestly have no idea whether or not they actually care, to be honest. Red team is trying to stop this Ark of Osiris from being delivered.
I love it. Full Honey Badger. He does not care. He's got one objective. You're carrying the Ark, and I want to see you not carrying the Ark. And I think that's just correct. If anything, he just stalls for more armies to come over. But I am impressed with the number of armies that Blue is fielding around this Ark of Osiris, continuing to bring momentum for getting that thing back to safety for them. It kind of incredible.
Unreal. They know that the moment they pick up this Ark, it'll be the first of potentially 3 they're going to be delivering. With each Ark that they deliver, they will get more and more points. This 3,000 points they're going to pick up right now from bringing back this Ark of Osiris is going to be huge. They know how close this match is going to be. They know that they need to get as big of a lead as soon as possible. And carrying this Ark is everything for them. It seems like the red team has understood that they dropped the ball on the Ark, and they are pushing onto different buildings, into different objectives, as the Shrine of War is about to be taken out of the blue team. Now, Chisgule.
Let me tell you,
the
number of expertise Disongye's on this battlefield
is unreal.
Is absolutely bananas. I will point out, love the use of Joan of Arc. Love the use of Joan of Arc. She's, every time you see that red circle around her army here, her march, she's cranked out a buff to all of those folks that are nearby. That I think is really, really strong, and it is like machine gun style buffing going on.
It's also worth noticing that she's carrying primarily sieges, so her job was very clear. Buff up the big boys. Now, here's the deal about the Shrine of War and why in this fight, the Shrine of War will mean everything. In other fights, we see potentially tier 3s versus tier 4s. We see tier 4s versus tier 4s where tech matters a little bit, but it plays a part, but not that big of a part. In here, when it's tier 5 versus tier 5, maxed out versus maxed out, Every single percentage matters. And we know this because the blue team is defending this Shrine of War with their life, and the red team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tier 5 marches right here, right now.
Yeah, there it is. It's converted. They plunk in there, and that looks good. I'll say this, at the 30-minute mark, I'm a whole heck of a lot interested in the Shrine of War. At this point, I'm getting deeply concerned about the altars. If you don't get the altars now, this game is going to run away from you totally.
I completely agree.
You need points at this point. So the thing I would hunt for, and they're doing it. I love this play. They're doing it. They're hunting the sky altar. I think that's a great choice.
I think they're doing a little bit of both. If you look at the desert altar, there is massive battlefield combats going on right next to the altar, and this is potentially to just diverge all these marches from their main target, which is, as you mentioned, the sky altar. That is where the red team has focused their 1.5 million rally into the building, and by just diverging the attention of all those field marches right next to the desert altar, by just slowing down their progress towards the sky altar, they've allowed themselves a window to potentially manage to take this without any reinforcements being able to get here on time. I think this Shrine of War was a complete diversion. I have a feeling it was a complete diversion.
I mean, it's an expensive diversion, but I suppose in some ways you just might not care when you can heal up all these troops and just swarm attack it if you need to. I'll say this rally over here is going to need to get reinforced. There we go. First reinforcement in. I know the Sky Altars received at least 1 or 2 reinforcements at this point. And this is why I really like hitting this objective for the players in red, because look, it's the closest one to them. It's the easiest for them to reinforce, hands down. It's strategically on the battlefield, the right thing to grab.
They also have a 80-point differential ahead of the blue team. They have finally taken the lead in the points per minute game. It looks like they're going to take an even further lead once they potentially manage to take away this sky altar from the blue team. It looks like one more march will make its way into the sky altar, maybe even 2, but that's the only thing that's close here to do any reinforcements. So really, this is the time where the red team has to swarm this thing on top of the rally to ensure this thing gets taken out before more reinforcements come in. If that happens, Chisgule, we're looking now at potentially 230 points per minute more, and that 5,000 point lead for the blue team will very quickly dissipate.
It will, but the ARK of Osiris will matter. Now it's an ARK game. Assuming red can take and hold this, now it becomes an ARK game, and the ARK is the critical factor. This will decide. This next ARK will majorly decide. If blue gets this next ARK, red is going to have to own the whole map to try to get back in. If red gets this ARK, then they're back in the game, and they have the point gain to start to ask the question of blue, which is, can you take one of your objectives back and get back into the leading position? But right now, it's blue asking the questions. Blue is saying, do you have an answer for this lead we have?
So I think that one of the most important things we need to mention also is that the first ARK you carry has, I think it's 3,000 points. And then the second one you bring in, the points you gain go up drastically. So it's not only that the red team must get this Temple of Osiris and get this ARK into their side. If the blue team somehow manage to get it, the size of a lead that they're going to have is going to be so big that I don't even know if the red team will have the time to come back from it. So really, I think the ARK of Osiris right now will pretty much decide this matchup, which...
It's the decider.
Which is very scary. It's very scary.
That said, there's a rally currently, 47 seconds till it hits the Shrine of War. I think this rally must have started before the altar had been converted. Otherwise, you certainly would have rallied the altar instead of the Shrine of War. And I'm eager to see what this is going to look like when it hits. Pardon me, this Shrine of War is going to be easy to reinforce for the folks in red. And, you know, I'm just going to call out something that I think is kind of interesting. The folks in blue have 5 unused teleports, whereas the folks in red have used up every single one they've got.
Which is very crucial. It just goes to show one of 2 things. Either the people on the blue side have been stuck. There is some people I see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Half of the people on the blue side have not placed themselves in situations where they can allow themselves to move. Now, this is a very, very, very dangerous game to play.
Oh my.
Because
This
what
rally.
you think it's
This
gonna...
rally's doing work.
Oh boy. Oh boy. The Shrine of War.
I think they're just going to give the Shrine of War. And that's okay. I think that's okay. At this point, I do not care about this objective at all. It's 80 points per minute. And actually, that
was their lead.
The points.
That was their lead right there.
But I don't care about that. What I really care about is the Ark of Osiris. So if they gave up the Shrine of War, what they must be saying is, we will get the Ark of Osiris. And that Ark of Osiris looks awfully contested, if you ask me.
I have never seen so many marches on a battlefield in my life. I am very amused at the fact that Memu player has not crashed yet. And I'm knocking on wood right there.
Yeah, well, what do we see over here? Some individual attacks that are possibly working going in on the Sky Altar, owned by JWM in the upper left. Those do look like they're working. That's going to need to get reinforced, but there is also a rally with a 1-minute clock going for the obelisk again. Aggressive play. I'll tell you, when my alliance made that play, we lost from a huge power advantage. I just think it's strategically ill-advised. You get lucky, great. But the enemy has an easy answer to that question.
I think know your enemy is the right thing to say when it comes to obelisk taking. I'm pretty sure these guys thought they can outsmart UCS, and UCS are not taking any of it. You can see Ende ported into this side, 83 million power player. Name SKO, 68 million power player. We're talking about Vasco, who is a Brazilian guy since that's a soccer team, is also in here. 3 tier 5 players ready to reinforce the obelisk at any point in time. So I don't really know whether the play is bad or not. I do think that in their situation, it's a very bad play to make. But I don't think that I have seen people rallying obelisks successfully over and over.
Yes, and not when you're down at 26 minutes in. With 26 minutes to go. I just don't think that's a play. But holy moly, here's a rally going to the Sky Altar. So the Sky Altar converted over to blue. It makes me very concerned that they have taken this objective, and now they're going to have a full rally of troops there to defend it, which is going to be really, really tough to take it back.
As the red team does still have the lead, by the way.
Slowly getting control over the map.
Yes, they are, but the red team is still ahead with about 510 points per minute versus 440. That message on your screen right now of the shrine being taken is what brought it up to 440. So we're still talking a small lead for the red team as they try to close this gap between them. Madness ensuing around the Ark of Osiris.
But that gap is going to rapidly vanish as soon as this blue starts getting points from that altar they just took. So this is a close score. It's a close score, but this Ark of Osiris is a decider. This is a decider, and at the same time that they grab this Ark of Osiris, I hope they have a rally going to a high point objective, like perhaps this Desert Altar would be a really good snag at this moment in time.
If you ask me, I think that in this whole matchup, we have seen UCS very much in control. I think that we are seeing the red team continuously trying to fight back, react to the actions of UCS, and that's not where I think the bigger, stronger alliance should be. It just goes to show that perhaps it's not that they came unprepared, but they did not think UCS would be as prepared, because they are in the firm lead in terms of not only points, but in terms of deciding what the red team will do next.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the question has been posed to the folks in red. Do you have a strategy to get a bunch of points right now? The Ark is a clean part of that strategy, but it's being moved by the folks in blue. I mean,
it's now or never.
I see a lot of armies. It's now or never. I see a lot of armies making their way up there. A remarkable number of siege units in those armies, which I think is kind of interesting. They can't be low on troops, right? They've got to have the healing speed ups for this, right?
I don't necessarily know if they don't have the healing speed ups or they don't feel like using them. We got to
That could be.
remember the KVK announcement is in the back of all of our heads.
True.
So do you waste your speed ups? And I'm saying this as dead as possible. Like, do you waste your speed ups here, or do you give up an Ark of Osiris in front of over 1,000 people watching across 3 streams? I don't think. It's a tough one.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'll tell you from having been on the losing side of an Ark of Osiris that like I was cranking healing speed ups. Yeah, because even though we just had a war, I was like, all right, well, I got to do my part here to try to bring us back into the match, and ultimately it didn't work. So,
but I think that this is something that has. I think this is something that has to be agreed on by the team. One of the most important things you just mentioned is that you, my friend, you took personal responsibility and used your speed ups. I'm not blaming nobody in your alliance by any means whatsoever, but unless the full team had committed to this, what it meant is that you ended up losing out doubled as much. Not only because you guys lost, but also because you ended up running out of healing speed ups. And while we're talking, the red team seems to have slowly taken over the area of the Ark of Osiris, because all of a sudden madness ensued. Tons of armies showed up. I'm seeing a lot of blue armies backing off. I think they're giving up on this Ark.
Maybe. I want to point out I didn't use all my healing speed ups. That would be a mistake in any single event. I used some healing speed ups. And anyways, a kingdom that's been at war, it's like a totally different ball game. Like we mentioned this in our stream yesterday, right? But one of my players, after having used a ton of troop training speed ups, was like, yes, I'm so pumped about all the troops I just trained. And I asked, like, how many troops are you up to now? And he was like, 2 full marches. So, like, war does some tough things to your mindset.
I mean, again,
perspective on what's good.
Jesus. And the Ark is marching towards the red team. One thing I really want to point out about Ark of Osiris carrying is really interesting. If you have enough troops, just like the red team has, and if you keep them very, very close to your Ark carrier, how does the opposite team know which army to target? It is super hard to know which army to target when there's 4 of them, one on top of each other. They did find the right target. They did end up taking them out. But you would think that 3 tier 5 marches that I'm seeing very, very close to the Ark right now would have destroyed it instantly. I think they just had a hard time finding the march itself.
Oh my gosh. Expertise Yi Sung-Ye lives for this moment.
I see 2 of them on the field right now. 1 for the red team, 1 for the blue team, and massive damage.
I'm just completely mesmerized.
Massive damage.
You look at the points, and like this is the battle that really matters right here in the center. Red must get this Ark now. It has to happen. Meanwhile, I see this Sky Altar flashing. Looks like a single army tested. Are you at home? And they are. Meanwhile, oh my goodness, what happened over here?
Sky Altar.
Sky Altar. It looks like it didn't go out. It looks like it got yoinked.
Oh no.
Maybe there was a rally, but it might have just been a yoink. Single player going, oh, is anyone home? No? Okay. Thank you. Because I don't see any armies running back.
I am honestly very, very concerned at this stage for JWM. My concern is real. 20 minutes exactly on the clock left. These guys picked up a couple of extra teleports right now. I don't know if you noticed the little animation flashing, giving them 2 more teleports each, or I think 3. I'm not entirely sure what this just was. Will they use them? Will they not? The blue team still has 8 teleports available. In madness ensuing around this Ark, as it is getting carried by the red team still. It has been dropped once more, but it looks like around the Ark there is much more red marches than blue. One thing worth pointing out is that someone is about to yoink the outpost of Seth away from the red team, which means that now they have no close target to take the Ark back to. The Shrine of War is taken away. The outpost is taken away. Now the only place to go to is the Desert Altar, which is a little bit of a walk, and there are plenty of blue marches that can cut that one off, as they already are on their way.
You know, what I think is kind of interesting here is that one of the lessons you learn the hard way in the Ark of Osiris when you battle a hard opponent is that coordinating who actually stays to defend a structure is incredibly relevant. Like, someone needs to be there, and unless you're actually going to spend the time arranging this in advance, which is not an easy thing to do. Well, hold on. I'm going to finish this thought in a second. We see here like a full march of T5s just getting chunked down because they're carrying the Ark. What an expensive healing bill that's gonna be.
If he actually ends up healing, right? If he has enough of them, screw it. Let them go
Yeah.
down. They're doing the right thing. I do think they're doing the right thing at this stage. It's going to be too hard for either team right now to get rid of the other team in the center. It's going to be absolute madness. You can see more and more blue marches coming in. You can see more and more red marches coming in.
I
And the red
think
team...
Red's doing it.
I agree. The red team is doing the right move. They're taking their ARK a few steps at a time forward, losing their tier 5s, but they're still sending massive amounts of marches. So I don't think is a bad idea.
Do you see the yoink on the obelisk? That had to have been a yoink.
Oh, no.
Another yoink on the right obelisk.
Oh, no.
To finish the thought I started earlier, this is why in my alliance, people take a full march of siege units and they just plunk them into one of these obelisks. But when everyone in your alliance has 5 marches that are legitimate on the battlefield, you might not have thought that, like, oh yeah, everyone needs to, like, commit one of those marches to at least one structure, right?
This comes out of the
But that's what needed
pre-planning
to happen.
stage. Exactly. As you mentioned, this is the pre-planning stage right here. When you come into the Ark of Osiris, you need to know who are the guys grabbing the obelisks, who are the guys posturing forward for the altars, who are the guys who are going to be sitting and defending at all time with one march, no matter how hard things get. You're going to have to know which team is in charge of which side of the map, and you're going to have to know whether or not you are fighting for the Ark of Osiris, and if you are, you got to spend the right resources to get it done.
Woo! That speedy Cao Cao kamikaze style attack going in on the ARK carrier, and is probably going to be successful.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look at the train load of tier 5s right behind this Cao Cao, just ready to destroy him, and there he goes instantly. And now someone will pick up this Ark of Osiris, and most likely we will see the red team trying to claw back, but unfortunately for them, at this point, the Ark of Osiris is kind of irrelevant again, because 3 altars are ticking for points for the blue team. We are talking 740 points per minute versus 160. The red team is in real trouble. I think they invested all their energy. I think they're listening to us, quite honestly. They invested all their energy knowing how important this is going to be on the ARK, and we didn't tell them that, hey, you got to keep an eye on your buildings as well. I guess they just went straight with the, we got to do what we got to do. And I don't even know where this ARK is marching. It is marching all the way home. What?
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
Purge, what are you doing?
They need to get these altars.
They have to.
They need to get these altars. Leaving. Let me speak for a second about leaving structures undefended. Leaving structures undefended when you are behind is a bold play, but not a bad one. Let me say why. There's a concept in gaming called playing. I think it's like playing to win versus playing to not lose.
Mm-hmm.
Playing to win is where you have a small chance of winning if you take kind of a bigger risk. But if you're successful, you actually win. Versus playing to not lose, like, yeah, you end up making generally smarter, safer plays, but like the chance you actually end up where you win instead of like losing by less is really, really low. So they took all their marches, they put them where they thought they could get the most points, and I guess that the folks in blue happened to notice that those structures were undefended, and they capitalized on it. So they were successful in getting the ARK, but it's come at a cost.
Well, I don't really know whether we're looking at making plays, as you mentioned, for playing for the win versus playing not to lose, because the win means points, and buildings mean points. So we know that if you are behind, no, it didn't crash. If you are behind that far and you got to get that ARK done, that is cool. But at the same time, your main source of points will be the buildings, no matter how you look at it. So the fact
But you said it right. You said it right. If they have to get it done, then they have to take a gamble. And the gamble is, I'm going to leave the structure undefended while we send all our armies to also get the ARK. And if they don't realize that it's undefended, then you win big on that gamble, which is pretty good. And if you look at that ARK contention, I mean, it took all those armies to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the gamble was fine. They just happened to get called on it. And they're now doing the same move, by the way, downfield, yoinking some of these outposts. I like it. Tiny army, marching around, downfield, yoinking stuff. That's good.
I think we're going to have to see a lot more of this in the future. I think that small armies moving around the map are very, very relevant. I think that people are caught up in power and strength and forget that the 1 million player you did give a chance to play the Ark of Osiris with your alliance, even though everybody's 20 million power, is the one guy with enough tier 1s to start moving around and really be ballsy, because he's not going toe-to-toe with the big guys. He's trying to be relevant. And I'm not saying that what this player is doing is that, because he probably is a big boy player. But the fact that someone is taking that hit of one of their troops being, 5,000 tier 1s on the map moving around instead of a full tier 4, tier 5 march fighting for solo points, I think this is very commendable. I think this has to happen more as the Ark of Osiris is successfully delivered to the red team. The blue team are not going to let this next Ark slip out of their hands. They are already surrounding the life out of it in open field combat everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. Ark respawn is a solid 7 minutes from now. In order to cap this thing, they got to send T1 calves, and they basically can't be interrupted at all. So, and that could be the game maker. Now altars are owned. 2 altars by red. They have enough altars. Now red must get this next Ark. They have 7 minutes to clean up this Temple of Osiris, and then they cannot lose the 2 sky altars they have.
Unfortunately.
And then perhaps they can win.
But unfortunately, to unfortunately cut off what you said, the two altars the red team have not started ticking points yet. There's 2 minutes to wait until those points start cranking up. So we're talking in the last 10 minutes, the red team will take a slight advantage, but they are going to have to do a lot more. Keep in mind that every building right now they take will take 3 minutes to start giving them points. Yes, it will automatically stop the blue team from gaining a bigger advantage as the points per minute for them stop ticking. But the fact that you're stopping the other team from making points doesn't mean you are making points yourself. So at this stage, I'm kind of, from casting with you so much, I'm starting to talk like you. At this stage, we really need to see a lot of buildings being taken. I am going to go as far as saying that the red team need to completely forget about this Ark of Osiris. That is right. That is right. I think that if the red team right now pick up the outpost and the desert altar to ensure there is no building that is close enough for the blue team to get into it, what they can do is they can yoink the Ark. Because they can go into the blue side's outpost if they own it. So as long as you own the desert altar, the opposite outpost, and the opposite shrine of war, and you hold them, if you manage to yoink that Ark close to that side.
I mean, to do what you're talking about, they would have to 1 minute rally this desert altar. It would have to get there. I think
it's too late.
With
it's
10
too
minutes
late.
left, it's too late.
It's too late for the Ark period. It is too late for the Ark period, my friend.
That I don't know about. That I'm not sure I agree. If they cleaned out the blue forces here, with 5 minutes they could move it back. But they have to clean out the blue forces. They have to hold what they have. And like they also optimally need to have a rally hit maybe the sky altar over here. And there it is. A swarm going to the sky altar. That could work. That could definitely work. So with that going on over there and the battle going on in mid, if they can win mid, win the sky altar, hold what's getting assaulted over here, this other sky altar, and this is going to be a close, very important fight, then they're going to be looking really, really good. I think I've got a strategy that is basically, when my alliance experienced basically the exact same challenge that JWM is experiencing, where we were like way ahead in terms of the power and players on the field, and we still lost. I realized I needed to adjust the strategy, and so I'm going to post on my channel a strategy that I think is incredibly strong for a situation where you think you're up against a tough opponent, or even honestly you just want to play like good, clean, solid Ark, and you're not worried so much about getting like a slam dunk. You just want to win cleanly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We've talked about all these different potential things you can do to ensure your victory. One of the easiest things to say but not do is pick up all 4 altars and hold on for dear life, because those are the main money makers. If you have those, you're pretty much set to win the game. And of course, you're going to have to fight other buildings and things like that. By the way, the Sky Altar was contested and unsuccessfully contested by the blue team. Red team tried to yoink the Shrine of Life unsuccessfully as well. I see another altar ticking. As you mentioned, Sky Altar being swarmed, and Yi Song-ye is punishing. Oh,
I think Red could do this. I think JWM could do this if they get this ARK. It could be close enough because they're also doing exactly what they need to do over here, grabbing the Sky Altar, which some reinforcements are coming in, but I think they might still get it. I don't know. Those reinforcements were really critical right there.
And the amount of chunking this Yi Song-ye is doing is absolute bonkers. It's absolute bonkers. These marches are taking 20,000, 18,000, 13,000, 11,000 damage at a time, and these arrows just keep coming. These arrows just keep coming one by one. The red marches are slowly crying their way back home. 4 marches down, 3 more to go. Can these 3 really hold? I think that a big mistake that's happening right now is the fact that Charles is so far up there and not close enough to this Joan of Arc to get did he get the whatchamacallit? No, he didn't.
Oh boy, shrine attack or swarm attack hitting the Shrine of War. These reinforcements really need to get here super quickly. Oh, just in time. Oh my goodness, more reinforcements need to get into this Shrine of War or it's going to convert over, and they got to get into that structure rather than fight outside it unless they've already got an army committed to that structure. It's going to convert, and they really need to hold that, but holy moly, hold the phone. Somehow the Desert Altar was switched over. That's a problem.
That is a huge problem. Although, with that being said, the red team, JWM, are so close to take the Sky Altar back. Even though they completely dropped the ball on their Desert Altar, they might still be able to somewhat recover a little bit. But this goes back to what we were talking about previously, my friend, as the Sky Altar remains for the red team. What happened here is the blue team stopped the red team from gaining points. They're at 440 a pop right now. And this works well for the blue team because right now what they want is they don't care about growing their lead even further. They just want to make sure the red team doesn't close the gap. Now, this Ark of Osiris is not, I really don't think there is a way this thing is going to move 57 seconds before it's here. The red team has only one option if they want to win this. And that is all these marches have to one by one carry this damn Ark 2 steps at a time on their direction. There's absolutely no way to clear this field at this stage. There's enough marches.
Unfortunately, because they lost their altar, they lost out on 150 points per minute for like 10 minutes. It's just they needed those points at this stage.
If they manage to convert, the 3 buildings they're attacking right now, they're attacking a Shrine of War, an altar, a Shrine of Life. If they manage to stop the blue team from getting those points, then it perhaps can still be a ball game. There is,
I don't know. They've got a 5K point lead here. So even if they get the Ark of Osiris, what's the Ark worth at this point? 3,500?
I don't know. I think it's more than that because 3 Arks is 15,000 points. So are you telling me it's 3.5, and then 7.5, whatever is left? I don't think so. I think this is going to be like honestly, I think this is a 6,000 point arc. I think this is a 6,000 point arc.
Then this arc is the decider then.
100%. And the red team know it. Look at this. They're already picking it up. They're already picking it up, and they're doing exactly what they have to do. They got to mark it.
Run it, baby.
They're going to march it one step at a time. Oh, Lordy. What are we witnessing?
They got to clear out these T5s. Oh, my God. This is it.
Guys, they
have to take this arc.
How many points is this arc worth? Chat, anyone knows? Second arc, what is it worth? As it drops for the first time. Purge.
This is amazing.
Come on.
They gotta clear these guys out. And
look at how many people. Listen, I gotta stop for a second. Did you see how many people tried to pick up that arc right now? Guys, I'm about to rip my skin out. When you see a little scroll thingy showing that someone is picking up the arc, for the love of God, stop trying yourself. He will get it before you. Stop it.
Yeah.
There's a juke going on.
Turn and fight.
There's a juke going on. The arc didn't move at all, and this blue marches got juked to move forward. Look at this. The 2 marches that were right next to the arc got juked into moving forward.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, there's T5s coming to hit them. I mean, there's the right number of armies in red here to do this. I don't know.
A
They
lot of
lost
buildings
two
are
altars.
flying.
Two altars have converted to blue again.
A lot of buildings are blinking. A lot of buildings are blinking. We're seeing only 90 points ahead for the blue team, even though they still have 3 altars more. Those altars are not ticking for points, which means there's still time. I don't think those altars will be able to tick for long enough. If this is a 6,000 point arc, red team won.
We're gonna find out. They've got the arc.
And they are moving.
They're moving it. They're hoofing it. So here's what they need to do.
Do they have time?
They
don't have time. They don't have time. They don't have time. 10 seconds. They're 10 seconds too short.
Gosh.
They are 10 seconds too short. Why are they going back home? Why are you going back home? Send it to the altar.
It's got to go to the desert altar.
He has to go to the desert altar. Someone tell them. We can't do it.
We can't. We can't tell him. Because we're too low level to chat in alliance chat.
No, we can. We can't. Alliance chat, we can chat. Alliance chat, we can chat. But I will not be interfering. As last time I interfered, I got yelled at by chat. So we will not be interfering.
He's gotta go. He has to go to the right objective. Does he not? Does he see? Does he see he's not gonna make it?
Do we tell them?
He's 10 seconds off.
Oh, he got it. Someone paid attention. What are you doing?
No.
What are you doing?
He's got to go to the right place. Every second matters right now. And he's going the wrong way.
Oh no.
This is the game.
This is the game. This is the last mistake. No. What are you doing?
It's the wrong way. Wait a minute.
No. Please.
Oh no.
Please.
Where's he going?
No.
The most epic Ark of Osiris, and he's going the wrong way.
I cannot believe this is how this goes down.
They did it. They did what they needed to do. If this is a 6
He stopped.
Wait.
He stopped. He knows it's over. He knows it's over.
Desert altar.
He knows it's over.
Thank
you.
He's going.
About damn
How much
time. I don't think he. No. How much time?
He's gonna make it.
He's gonna make it.
Gonna make
No way. No way. There's blue marches close, my man. There's blue marches close. Oh god.
Yeah, they lost a lot of time there.
Oh god.
They gave blue marches a chance to catch him and hunt him. They have to now fight this. They have to hit this Richard. Slow the Richard. You know I love cavalry, right? Because the cavalry have the talent charge. So right now, this JWM army is going 30% faster than it would otherwise because they're below 50% health. There we go. There we go. Folks are hitting this thing.
Chisgule, my friend.
This arc has worked.
Chisgule, my friend.
Oh no! Oh! This other guy's coming in. He's gonna take him down.
Oh no!
Oh.
What a huge mistake! What a huge mistake to end this beautiful Ark of Osiris.
Look how close he's gonna get too. He totally would have made it.
He would have more than made it. For sure.
100% he would have made it.
He might still make it.
No.
He might still make it.
5?
He might still make it.
No!
No! Someone grab it! Move it! Someone! No!
Pick it up. They've got 20 seconds. Okay.
It's over. It is over.
No.
It is
They
over.
can pick it up and do it.
It is
They can do
over.
it.
My friend, look at the
They can do
points.
it.
Look at the points. Even if this is a 6,000 point arc.
Put it in. They gotta march it. March the thing.
Oh no. Oh no. If this is a 7,000, I don't know how many points this is.
Wait, march it. What
are they doing?
No. Oh my gosh.
I cannot believe this ended like
melting.
this.
I'm melting.
Cannot believe this ended like this.
How many points was it? Someone's gotta know.
Oh my god.
Someone's gotta know how many points that was. I don't know if it was gonna be 7,000 points.
I don't even either, but still, the fact that they had the ability to perhaps get it done, and look at the kills.
I don't think that was gonna be it. I don't think that was gonna be it.
At the kills.
I think that would have been like a 4K arc.
4K arc? You think? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know how much it's worth.
Maybe 5.5K.
Oh my.
But that wouldn't have been enough.
Goodness.
That was so close.
I am chat. Look at my hand. Look at my hand, chat. I am shaking. I am literally shaking from the adrenaline. I was like, go, go, go. What are you doing? 30.
I don't think it would have been enough, but it was so close.
30.5 million kills total. What a savage fight. And look at the scoreline of occupy. Are you still looking at the battle complete screen?
Of course I am. I'm baffled.
The
My
fact,
jaw's dropping.
the
Holy
fact
moly.
that again, provisioning score had such a huge impact. Yes, there is 6,000 points in occupation difference, but 2,000 points, 1,500 points were
Yeah.
provisions.
You're right. You're right. Let's talk about that for a second. If that ARK, you said that normally when 3 ARKs are captured, it's worth, you said 15,000 points total?
Correct. And it seems like the second one
So-
is worth 3,500. So if the first, yeah, go ahead. You were getting there.
So 5,500, right, is what that last ARK would have been worth. So if they had those points and they had 2K of additional provision score,
They won.
they win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
This again
Totally.
came down to a little bit of a lack of focus in the last seconds as everything got very, very hard, going in the wrong direction. That ARK could have been 100% belonging to JWM. And more than that, in the time that this was going on, the blue team was ticking for more points. If JWM, on top of that, tried to slow the gain of points by the blue team, this could have been a yoink. This could have been a yoink.
First of all, let me just say this was incredibly well fought by both sides. This was insanely fun to watch. Holy moly, this was nuts. Let's talk about strategy. Things that I saw that I would tweak that went well, and here's what I think. I think that the rally on the obelisks from red attacking blue was a little aggressive. I think it was more aggressive than was warranted in this battle, and I think that there were a lot of swarm attacks on objectives that could have been 1-minute rallies. And you can see here in the kill count that blue had, they had a lot of kills, and I think that is because I saw red doing a lot of swarming. I did not see a lot of swarming from blue, did you?
I did not see at all. I think that the blue team was much more focused on, we are here to win the ARK of Osiris. We are not here to show who is better, who is worse, who is bigger, who is stronger, or who is anything. We are here to show one thing. We want to win the ARK of Osiris. And this is very important to talk about because the ARK of Osiris is a completely different event from everything else this game is. It is something that you come in and do. You don't know deaths, no nothing. It's about points. It's not about kills. It's not about your power. It's about your ability to hold on to objectives. So winning in ARK of Osiris is not having more kills. It's not severely wounding more. It's not healing more. It's about how many points you can make. And we saw previously 16 people beat 30 people because they were focusing their little marches on objectives rather than on kills. I think JWM got just a tad bit ahead of themselves early on, and that really cost them very deeply, very, very much early on.
Yeah, I mean, this might have been the first proper lineup that they've been against. Right? Like, when you're an alliance of this magnitude, of this power, there just aren't that many alliances to compete with, and I know this was an arranged fight, and again, thank you to both alliances for creating such an awesome ARK of Osiris for everyone to watch. I have to think that this is going to be one of the most watched and rewatched ARK of Osirises to date. And so they coordinated this matchup, and, like, this is probably the first time both sides have had to fight, like, really challenging opponents.
And we need to add a very important topic, which I don't remember if we talked about it off stream or on stream, but I will repeat it once again, which is the matching system. You guys got to remember there are 6 total slots for ARK of Osiris, which means if JWM picks slot 1 and UCS picks slot 2, and there is nobody else as big as them on those slots, they're going to get the next biggest guy. If it's 500 million, if it's 800 million, or 200 million, that's how the matching works. So to say we got to fix the matching is a little bit rough because there is 2 things that I've heard a lot about. First of all, the power differentials, and secondly, the maturity of kingdoms that are fighting each other. And these are very complex things to really be able to optimize if you are given the choice. One thing that Rise of Kingdoms has done very well is give you guys the choice. In every other game I've played with these types of events, there was no choice. This is the time the event happens, show up or don't. And in those cases, matchups would have been a lot better because they would have just matched these bigger guys together. But when you have the choice, you're making it much harder on the development team to come up with an optimized way to pair up people.
I think that as the number of kingdoms expands, as the number of players expands, it's going to be a lot easier to get good matchups that are even-ish. And, like, Honestly, I'm really pumped for hopefully the day when there's some sort of leaderboard and ranking system because, like, look,
That's coming. What?
oh,
What were you saying?
Gecko leaks
What?
once again.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, a ranking system would make it so that you get an opponent with the right record and sort of balance optimally of power. I think that would be really great.
Chisgule, would you give up your freedom to choose when is best to play for a ranking system? Because if there's a ranking system, now you cannot pick no more. It has to be one time that everyone either shows up or not. And at this stage, if I can do only slot 1 and you can do only slot 2 and we have to match up, what do we do?
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point. I don't know what the answer is to that.
I think that the freedom they give us, exactly. I think the flexibility we get comes at a price. And the price can be skewed. I'm going to spoil one more thing for our viewers who are still here. And by the way, those of you who are at Ronnie's stream do not know this. We are in talks with JWM because, honestly, JWM, UCS, S equals C, and a couple of other huge alliances are so tired of fighting someone smaller that these alliances are in the same room, guys. They are coordinating, and we are going to be seeing more coordinated fights between big players in the upcoming ARK of Osiris. For those of you joining Chisgule Gaming or myself, that's a little bit of a insider spoiler for you guys. We are going to be seeing much more matchups of big people fighting in these coming ARK of Osiris, as long as, of course, the times work out and all that can be worked out. This is in between the leaders. But yeah, I think that this shows the greatness of Rise of Kingdoms community, because we get together and say, hell no, we're going to coordinate behind their backs. They knew this was coming. Those question marks on the matchup were a joke. These guys knew what was going on. So this is what I love about our community, that people get together and are like, I want to face you. I want to face you. Let's coordinate times and let's try to get each other. And that's something I really think every big alliance should be doing. Even medium-sized alliances that keep getting opponents that are 180, 150 million power below them, find a friend and start battling them.
You know, it's funny. Someone just showed up in my chat and says, is the Ark of Osiris over? Who won?
Well, my friend, that's the beauty of YouTube. Do you see under our names that little thing that says that's a timeline? Go all the way to the back and start rewatching the VOD, my friends. That's the beauty of YouTube. The VOD will be instantly available within the next couple of hours on both of our channels of both perspectives. The multicast will have both of the perspectives as well on it that you can rewatch. So if you want to rewatch it on the multi-stream, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave a message for these guys in their chat just to let them know how, first of all, thankful we are for this opportunity.
Yes, please. This has to be the most exciting Ark of Osiris that we've watched, which is pretty impressive because we watched a really exciting Ark of Osiris yesterday as well.
Sorry, as I was typing, I'm on mute, so you don't hear the keyboard. I remember we talked about that, so keep going.
All right, so what I'm doing now, for those of you who are watching, is just running around, farming up some barbarians, spending down my action points. We've got an event going, Strategic Reserve. When this event is going on, you always want to battle barbarians for those sweet, sweet chests that have a bunch of loot within them. So that's what we're doing. We're just running around doing that. Holy moly, for those of you that are still here, and there are a ton of you, now is a great time for any questions that you would like to have answered. What are your questions, comments, thoughts? Michael saying, hey man, love your videos. I seen last night about Ark of Osiris and a rally hitting a rally. Can that really happen? Yes. Rallies can hit rallies. If you watch some of my older war videos, we were rallying a pass, a level 3 pass, and the side that was defending it rallied our rally, which was pretty insane. That ended up not going particularly well for them, but it is a tactic, and it does work. I think in Ark of Osiris, it's an incredible defensive tactic, by the way, and is a thing I'm definitely going to be considering doing at some point in the future, because if you can line up that rally, to hit their rally as it's marching, you're gonna get your skill attacks, and they are not gonna get theirs, assuming that you've got enough march speed on your rally to kind of keep up with theirs. So I think that is pretty darn exciting.
Chisgule, my friend, just to let our chats know, I wrote to JWM, thank you guys very much for the opportunity to cast you. It was unbelievable to watch, unbelievable to cast. You guys are monsters. Next time you'll win. We'll love to come back to cast you, record any action in the future. GG's, our viewers are very excited to see you guys play. If there's anything we can do for you at any point in time, don't shy away from getting in touch with, I said me, but they understood what I mean. Chisgule, my friend, I really want to thank you for co-casting this with me. I think that the most fun in this whole thing was hearing you getting excited. Because you get excited and I get excited, and you get excited and I get even more excited, and I couldn't hold it. I need to go chill. My manager called me about 1,000,000 times. So this is the time for me to get off stream, get back to work. Yeah, don't cast while working. Trust me, it doesn't end well. Guys, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you in Chisgule's stream and my stream. Make sure you guys smash them like buttons, and of course, subscribe to the channels for more Rise of Kingdoms content. Chisgule mentioned he has an awesome strategy coming up in the near future about Ark of Osiris. We're going to do another video as well, commentating on the Ark you and I have watched earlier. That'll be on my channel sometime this week as well. And really talking about the turning points in which that very close Ark could have gone either way. Chisgule, get some sleep. Oh, well, it's morning, right? Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you spend some time with your family. Spend some time with family, friends, and all that good stuff. Enjoy your weekend, my man. I'm going to go back to work. Chat, I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay positive. Surround yourself with good people. Peace.